When it comes to Leo and Aquariuses, not all Leos and Aquarius can get along. And a lot of the times it's best just to be friends. It just depends on the planet they were born under, what personality and character they have built according to the lifestyle that they were living in their past. So Leo and Aquarius, they're polar opposite. Sometimes they get on each other's nerves, and a lot of the times they can't understand the communications with each other because, they have different perspectives and they see things different. One takes what they see in reality. The other one, knows that there's better out there. It just all depends. It depends on the age. It depends on the knowledge, the frequency, the energy, the vibration they're on. It depends if they are twin flames, if they met each other in past lives. It has a lot of levels of a Leo and Aquarius. They are a couple that if they have a lot of patience and a lot of work that needs to be done between them, separately and together, it can work. It can. It's just, got to give each other that space to grow into each other. You know what I mean? So it is a very complicated, complex, hard relationship between a Leo and Aquarius. As for my experiences with that, is what I'm saying. It takes a lot of hard work and patience. And it takes a lot of working on your shadow work, working on healing your past and everything in between. And sometimes you can heal, sometimes you don't. You just have to learn how to manage and manage how the actions you take. Manage your words. Like, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. It's how you present it that the other person will take it. But sometimes, it's like I said, Leo and Aquarius, it's hard to communicate with each other. The female mind is different than the male's. So it takes work, is all I can say. It takes a lot of work, but everything can be done. And as he says towards the end, horoscope, zodiacs, astrology, just know that it's put together according to this matrix system, this falsified earth with the planets and everything in between. So in my perspective, horoscopes, zodiacs and all that, they say is true. It's true because you live in this 3D avatar, live in this 3D world. It's true. But when you look at it at a soul perspective of a sentient that has come from the 12th dimension and above, it doesn't work. You have to go by who you are in your soul, who you are mentally, who you are on according to what you absorb through your eyes, who you are on how you speak, and who you are emotionally through your heart and your soul, your spirit. It and who you are on the actions that you take according to your daily life. It has all of that. So you have astrology from a 3D world, and then you have no astrology when it comes to the soul, the heart, and the spirit. But you can combine them and figure out a middle ground. And a Leo and an Aquarius can be the most perfect couple in all the zodiac. Literally. Because Aquarius is number one out of all 12, or you can say 13 zodiacs. Aquarius is number one. They're the strongest. They're the ones with the most knowledge. They're the ones that have courage. They're the ones that separate what is real, what is fake, what is the priority, what is not. And healers, warriors, we are the best out of all the zodiac. And it's true. If you don't have to believe me, you can do your own research. But here is a guy that's speaking about a Leo and Aquarius and how they are together and all the difficulties and stuff like that. And basically everything he says is true. But like I said, it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of sitting down and communicating and finding middle ground, and everything would be great. So here is a clip. Listen to it.
Leo and Aquarius got this request. These two fixed signs, these very different two fixed energies. So with our Leo, we have our fixed fire. With Aquarius, we have our fixed air. Leo ruled by the sun, Aquarius ruled by Uranus. And with these signs, they feel really far from each other to me. Leo, who, yes, is very much about the self. Fire signs tend to be about the self. It's ego, it's spirit. It's about having a life here. It's about making their mark on this planet through their self. It's about their flame burning bright. And I will say though that Leos, once you are in their pride, their lion pride, they champion, they cheerlead, they love their lovers, they love their loved ones, and they will sing those love sonnets, those love songs from the mountaintops. Like, Leos are so good about that. But Aquarians are so removed, and so they're distant. They're in outer space, they're in the clouds, they're on the rainbow, and so there's this, I'm sensing distance between these two signs. But there's interesting stuff here. I want to get into it. So both of these signs are masculine elements. Fire is masculine, air is masculine. With that, masculine energy is about action. It instead of turning inward, it is about doing. And with Leos, with the fire sign gig, again, this little light of mine, these are the people who are, in Leo's case, performing, being witnessed, singing the songs, acting the play, the film, whatever, it's being seen. And with Aquarians, their way of enacting, it's this like humanitarian impulse that comes from what Uranus brings out of them, this great eccentricity, because it's an air sign. It is incredible thought, this cerebral ability, capacity, so smart, connected to society, but the highest manifestation of the air signs, so evolved, they are now in outer space. Like, they've evolved into these sort of like alien life forms, pulling us into the future. Age of Aquarius, a new age that is about peace acceptance, love, unity. No one gets left behind anymore. That's what Aquarius is about. It's this high humanitarian impulse where we are toppling old systems of disenfranchisement, exploitation. We're not doing that anymore. Age of Aquarius, new world orders of peace, harmony, and love. Gorgeous. That's Aquarius. And so in this, also Aquarius can be so fun, so funny, so bright, so interesting, so different. And Leos are really interested in sparkles. Leos are really interested in shiny things. I was about to say all fire signs are, but I don't think Aries really are. Aries don't get distracted. Aries are doing their own thing. But Leos and Sagittarius, they do. They're like, oh, that's interesting. That's sparkly. What are you doing over there? But there is with Leos, Leos, you have to be inside of their cohort. And then once you're inside their cohort, they're like, oh, look at my beautiful Aquarius here. Look at my shiny little prize here. Like look at my beloved. Aren't they amazing? Aren't they beautiful and desirable? And so I can see that. A Leo who's not in a good place, they'd be like, who do they think they are? Why are they so weird? Why aren't they so eccentric? I can see that from a Leo who's not healed or not on their healing journey yet. And then an Aquarius who's not on their highest plane yet, they could maybe see a Leo who's doing the Leo gig, and they would be like, you need to tap into like other people. You need to be looking at how are you helping others. An Aquarius who can get very high-minded, can get very sort of highfalutin, because these are the fixed natures of these signs. And with fixed natures, there's not always an imagination for the other. It's what happens with fixed energy. They're so sure of themselves. And when you are so sure of yourself, which everything is a double-edged sword, right? There are such great gifts in it, but then there are weaknesses in it too. And when you are really fixed, it's sometimes hard for you to have an imagination for the other. And so, for the Leo, they're like, why are they being so weird? And for like the Aquarius, it's like, why isn't that person thinking about others? And like, it's just sometimes hard for them to put them in the other's shoes and have an imagination for the other. But I think that these two signs, these big personalities, really strong, really sure of themselves, how would they communicate? Leo, who can be so big, so demonstrative, sometimes performative. I don't know if Aquarius would like that. Aquarius and Aquarians, they can pull up a drawbridge. Similar to like a Scorpio, they'll pull up a drawbridge, another fixed sign, a Scorpio. And Aquarius, who they're tapped into like this future knowledge. And they're just like, no. Oh, that's interesting. You think that. No. I know myself. I'm not. And then Leos, who have this sort of like fire inside of them, this temper, and it's kitty. It's like a kitty roar. What? No. And it's bigness. It's like big performance energy. What? You don't think like me? How dare you? And it's not always as big as it seems. It's just the performative nature, and it's kind of actory, and it's grand. It's kind of diva, and an Aquarius is gonna be like, what is that about? Why are you doing that? And an Aquarian is also always kind of gonna be poking holes. And I think that would probably be really hard for a Leo, because if you poke holes in a Leo, that is one of the things that you can't do with a Leo. You can't knock their feet out from underneath them. So I kind of think conflict would be hard for these signs. But I do think like if an Aquarian really buys the Leo gig, and if the Aquarian is like, I am totally into this Leo, a Leo's really going to forgive anything that the Aquarian is like, any sort of eccentricities. I think the Leo would be like, oh, I'm actually into that. No, like, yeah, they're a little different, but they're mine and they're wonderful. And no, it's actually, they're fabulous. And like, I can see that switch happening. And then Leo can get so protective and gorgeous and championing of anyone who's in their circle. So it would kind of just take the Aquarian being all about the Leo. And then the Leo, I think, could like forgive any of the sort of like Aquarian distance. I still don't super see communication being easy between these two, because I don't see either of them budging from their point of views. I just kind of, they would have to just accept the other, but I don't see either of them giving in to their worldview. Their fixed natures are just too solid. And the Aquarian, who's so heady, is just going to be stuck in their own thoughts. And the Leo is just they're a king, they're a monarch, and they don't really budge from what they believe. They're the sun in the center of the solar system. And then the Aquarian's just like space itself. So it's like, I don't see them sort of like coming to compromise there. But I kind of love these two, like, well, siblings, I feel like would be really hard. I kind of love like a Leo parent and an Aquarian child. That kind of feels cozy. These two as collaborators feel like it would really create interesting tension and dynamics. But it's the thing I always say where it's like friction's important and attraction is magic. And who we find ourselves to is really interesting. And astrology should not dictate your relationships. It shouldn't. This is information. These are just like blueprints and schematics, But like if the building already exists, just look at like the blueprint and be like, oh, that's interesting. How did we get here? What are the patterns? Oh, look at this information. I think this one is I think this is an interesting kind of odd pairing. I think two fixed signs together is usually kind of difficult. And then these two, again, I feel distance from them. I don't know how these two signs meet each other. It kind of feels like a great chasm of distance. The sun and then the entirety of outer space. But such powerful energies. Powerful.
But there you have it. And like he said, don't let astrology dictate your life. Thank you for watching.